fiscal year 1920 Community Engagement Plan.
Colleagues, the City and the United States Department of Justice entered into a settlement agreement in 2012 to make reforms to the way the city provides policing services, particularly as those services related to people with mental illness or experiencing mental health crisis. Let me just say that it has always been our goal to decrease and de-escalate interactions between police and those experiencing mental health crisis, and we continue to work towards that end. One of the many requirements of the agreement calls for the Police Bureau to prepare an annual report and present it to the council. That's the first item that we'll be hearing today. Another major focus of the agreement is to enhance the Police Bureau's engagement with the community. The city has made significant efforts to engage the community and has benefited from dedicated volunteers in this regard, both on the Community Oversight Advisory Board and on the Portland Committee on Community Engaged Policing, or PSEP. The work of the PSEP is governed by a plan developed with robust feedback from the community, particularly the Albina Ministerial Alliance for Justice and Police Reform. We're grateful for their continuing dedication and advocacy on these critical issues. The settlement agreement and the PSEP plan both require that the PSEP and the Police Bureau collaborate on a community engagement plan and that the council approve that plan. That is the second item that we'll be taking up today. You will find that the 2018 annual report is much different than previous reports in that it incorporates feedback received from the PSEP. In the past, annual reports were statistically heavy and didn't provide as much context. This report is more interactive and features links to other relevant documents and to the Bureau's open data page for those who wanted to do a deeper dive into crimes and data. In addition, Chief Outlaw has asked each division manager to submit information on that division's challenges and accomplishments, which provides a much fuller picture of Bureau activities. Turning to the Community Engagement Plan, it represents a step forward for the Bureau. It builds on existing community engagement efforts, and it's intended to be a living document that will evolve over time. The plan was created in collaboration with the PSEP and with feedback from numerous public forums. The Bureau's Equity and Inclusion Office and Community Engagement units also contributed to the plan. This plan contains goals and action items in 4 specific areas: public involvement, communications, access, and training. This plan identifies new outreach and engagement efforts that will be undertaken in the coming year, in addition to the many existing outreach activities being done every day. The Bureau will report back to the PSEP on its work over the first year of the plan and will collaborate with the PSEP to make the changes going forward. These changes will foster deeper and more meaningful engagement with the community. This is a key component of the Bureau's commitment to 21st century policing. My thanks to the PSEP and the Chief Outlaw and to her team for continuing work on the Community Engagement Plan. Today our presenters include Chief Danial Outlay, Lakiana Drury, who is the PSEP co-chair, and Vadim Mozerski, who is the Settlement Agreement Subcommittee. Are you the chair or a member? Member of the Settlement Agreement Subcommittee. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Danial Outlay, Chief of Portland Police Bureau, and again, I'd like to thank Lakiana for being here with me. It's my pleasure to be here today to present the 2018 annual report and the Community Engagement Plan. But before doing so, I'd like to reiterate the Mayor's comments. We had a great deal of input into both of these documents. My thanks to the members of the Portland Committee on Community Engagement Policing, as well as the members of the Albina Ministerial Alliance for Justice and Police Reform. I'm also grateful to all the community members who took the time and effort to come to our strategic planning, public forums, and provided insight. And finally, thank you to the many Bureau members who helped develop and craft these documents. I'll start with the annual report. The Police Bureau has always published an annual report, but it was a document that mainly sat on our website and was reported crime statistics and PPV general information. this year, well, for 2018, based on the feedback from the PSEP's review of the 2017 report, I asked each of our area managers to detail their division's respective accomplishments and challenges. We took additional recommendations from the PSEP on what they wanted to see the annual report look like, and we implemented them. These included preparing a first draft of the report by June of 2019 to allow PSEP members to be able to comment. Also, they recommended that we add information on annual challenges and areas of improvement. This includes hyperlinks to applicable information found elsewhere, such as statistical data analysis directives and more. Also presented, and presenting this annual report to City Council as required in the settlement agreement with the DOJ. The only recommendation that we did not complete was listing our annual goals and priorities, and including assessment of the progress toward meeting them. That is because the Bureau's goals and priorities will be set by our forthcoming strategic plan, which we anticipate to be completed by the end of this year. So with the recommendation made regarding tracking our improvement metrics and self-assessing how we compared to those goals and priorities, we believe we'll be able to do that once the strategic plan is implemented in our regional annual reports. For some reason, I can't say strategic plan today. After receiving these recommendations, we wrote the report outlining the accomplishments and challenges that fell in the goals I established when I became the chief,